Hello and welcome to TheAIbumMan, and today it is time for CDs and that one vinyl I bought recently. So quite a few, as well per often this month, and certainly I can tell you that for August I picked up quite a lot. So this is for July, I don't think I've done July, so it should be for July, and there is some pretty damn good stuff. So let's just start with the one vinyl. The one vinyl is something I have bought before. Yes's Relayer. You may have seen this before. And so why am I buying it again? Well, because the copy I had was so scratched and it sounded so horrible, I just basically needed a new copy that was actually listenable, because I really love the Relayer album. It's one of my favourite Yes albums. It's very good end to end. I don't know why people don't talk about it as often in Yes's catalogue, to be honest. I don't talk about the same vein as Close to the Edge or the Yes album. It's like Topographic Oceans, very underrated. So basically, there is this man at a car boot sale who sells CDs for £1. And I talked about him in the last episode of this, as I bought a few things there. The rest of these pickups are all from that one person, all at £1 each, and absolute freaking bargains, without a doubt, just bargains. And next month there'll be some from him again, because he just had so much amazing stuff, and at £1 each, it's just ridiculous. So let's start going alphabetical order. Alter Bridge's One Day Remains. Now, why doesn't it have a booklet? It doesn't have a booklet because the booklet folded into a poster, and I have it on my wall. I love Alter Bridge, and this was the only album that I didn't have. Now, I had heard it before. I mean, songs like Open Your Eyes, Metalingus, Broken Wings are probably the best tracks on it. And I'd say it's the weakest of their catalogue, but it's still a fantastic debut album. Definitely worth checking out if you don't know it. And I have to say, I haven't really got around to it yet, but it's... And you will know us by the Trail of the Dead, their album Worlds Apart. This is like a deluxe CD, DVD thing. And I sort of have heard this ahead of this band, like in classic rock and things. I mean, on Interscope, I think there's some form of prog band, that's what I've heard of them. I need to freaking listen to this, I've just had so much to listen to recently. But this sounds interesting. It's just like, hey, prog album with a really weird name for £1 that's deluxe version. Why not? Give it a go. Okay, then from prog we move to melodic death metal with At the Gates, Terminal Spirit Disease. I've been listening to a lot of At the Gates recently, and picking up a lot of At the Gates recently. More At the Gates to come in future pickup videos, without a doubt. So yeah, Terminal Spirit Disease for £1. I mean, it's good. It's not as good as Slaughter of the Soul. That is their best album, but this is definitely a strong album from them. Now, this is quite a rare album I managed to pick up, so really pleased to find this, again, for £1. Camel's Rejazz. This is a later era Camel. This seems to be from '99, and to me, Camel went a bit downhill after the 70s. I'm not as big a fan of their 80s stuff. Nude is alright, but in general, their output after the classic 70s material like Mirage, Snow Goose, of course, which I recently saw performed in its entirety. Andrew Latimer brought Camel back. And yeah, Rejazz, I haven't heard it yet, if I'm going to be honest. But it's quite expensive on Amazon. I think when I looked it up, it's like £20 on Amazon. So that's something to get close. I'd like a full Camel discography one day. That'd be cool. This was a band I decided to gamble on. Cynic. This is their album Traced in the Air. Now, I've heard people talk about Cynic as a sort of a jazzy, progressive metal band, and I think they employ some harsher vocals as well. Yeah, so, I mean, they had a new album that came out early this year, which I've heard a lot of good things about, so I saw this older album of theirs for £1, and it's like, oh, I'll give it a go. Again, I actually haven't got around to listening to it yet. I don't know why, I meant to listen to this one. This was one I was really excited to hear. Yeah, I need to hear that. Two albums I have heard that I've really been enjoying. Deftones Around the Fair and their self-titled album. I picked these up just before I went to Sonosphere in particular, because I saw Deftones live, that and they were one of the best bands. They were just fantastic live. Definitely recommend them as a live act. I mean, I'm not as big a fan on their earlier stuff. But I do like Around the Fair. I think it's a good album. I don't think it's as good as White Pony or my favourite of their albums, Diamond Eyes. Maybe not even as good as Koi no Yokan. I really like that. I like this album as well. This is good. Again, I wouldn't put it up there with their best, but it is a strong album nonetheless. An album that I really thought I should check out, but I've never owned anything from Faith No More. I've had so many people recommend, oh, you should listen to Faith No More, you should listen to Angel Dust. So, picked it up. I've listened to it. And it's interesting. It's an interesting album. It's a mixed bag for me. Some tracks, Midlife Crisis. Oh yeah. Let's see. Caffeine, that's a really good track. A Small Victory, that's pretty good. There's some good songs on here. There's also some crap. I mean, Jizzlobber is not that good a track, really. RV, I can't sound too keen on. And I mean, they have a lot of diverse influences on the record, but I just find it's a bit mismatched sometimes. I don't think it flows all that well, and I think they try and cover too many genres, honestly, in the same album. I'm not a big, I mean, by the singles, I mean, I think Epic, I've never been too big on Epic, to be honest. It's always been a bit too rappy for my liking, but Midlife Crisis is definitely the highlight of this album. It's just a really good rock song. I love Mike Patton's voice, fantastic vocals, just not sure stylistically about all the tracks on this album. You might think this is only choice. Why would I pick up Guns N' Roses' greatest hits when they're my favourite band and I own their whole discography? Let me tell you, because I wanted the song Sympathy for the Devil. That was the last song they ever recorded together. There's the, well, close to the original lineup. That was the last song ever recorded with Slash, and in fact that really was the breaking point of the band. They covered the Stones song, as I think Axl wanted to like overdub some of the guitar playing or something, and he just managed to piss off Slash completely with it. So I wanted to own that song, and also this is the only time they've ever been remastered, the Guns N' Roses songs, so I can't say I think they're the best remasters. Still, you know, I wanted everything of GNR, so I do now have that. One of the few Marilyn Manson albums I don't have is Last Tour on Earth. I have to say, it's been a while since I really listened. I went through such a big Marilyn Manson phase, like, last year. I haven't listened to him that much in 2014, honestly. I haven't gone off him, I still really like him, just been listening to other stuff, I suppose. But I've never heard his live show, honestly, so I thought this would be interesting. There are a lot of it, well, actually, no, this, yeah, it seems a pretty good set list, actually. It seems to have a lot of stuff from Mechanical Animals, but it doesn't have anything from Hollywood, which is by far my favourite of his albums. So that's the only shit. I'm not too big on Antichrist Superstar either. I need to revisit that album, but I wasn't too keen first listen. I prefer sort of, well, Mechanical Animals, Hollywood, and I really love Born Villain. Monster Magnet, Spine of God. I thought it was high time I checked out Monster Magnet. I've heard about them so much, as their album last year they released and stuff, as this sort of stoner band, one of the best stoner metal type bands. I really like a lot of stoner music. So yeah, I thought I'd check out Spine of God. I've heard this is often rated as one of their best, so that was cool, so I just picked it up because it said Monster Magnet. This was a real gamble album. You might not have expected me to be buying Morbid Angel. No, I didn't. This is Gateways of Annihilation. Again, why did I buy it? Because it was £1, and I always hear people, death metal fans, always say, oh, Morbid Angel, that's such a good band. So I thought, oh, Morbid Angel, let's see if this is any good. And I know the last album was meant to be awful. I think it was the last album that was meant to be really, really bad. Tell me if this is a good Morbid Angel album. I don't know, I'm probably saving this a bit more for the winter. It's a bit too hot and sunny to be listening to this type of death metal, so I will get around to it, but you know, tell me, I don't know, where this stands in Morbid Angel's catalogue. Always nice to add some more Neurosis to the collection, as their albums can often be a little pricey. This is Times of Grace, and this is really good. I've been enjoying this album quite a bit, to be honest. I really like Neurosis, been listening to quite a bit of them at the moment. I'd say my favourite album of theirs might be Honour Found in Decay at the moment, though I have to say I haven't heard through Sep and Blood, no, through Silver and Blood, or I don't know, I haven't heard their classic album, or so-called classic album yet, and I haven't heard Souls at Zero either, which I really want to. But definitely always pick up new releases when I see it. It's time for some good old Dimebag and some Pantera, and this is their live album, 101 Proof, and this is just such a fan. This really is just the best of Pantera live. This is everything you'd want. Cemetery Gates, Walk, Suicide Note Part 2, 5 Minutes Alone, I'm Broken, Cowboys from Hell. I just love the set that they play on this. I'm not a massive Pantera fan. I mean, I love Cowboys from Hell. I was listening to Far Beyond the Driven the other day and I wasn't too impressed by that. I like some songs like Becoming, 5 Minutes Alone, but I don't know, I just found the album, it didn't do that much for me, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I wasn't too big. I've never been massive on Phil Anselmo's vocals. The reason I've always liked Pantera is because more of Dimebag, but it can have some really strong tracks. I also like Glam Terror as well. Okay, time to get into a bit of Slayer, and we have Divine Intervention and God Hates Us All. I was looking at my collection the other day and realising I do have an ungodly amount of Slayer. I've just recently picked up so much Slayer. I've somehow in the last 6 months gone from basically no Slayer to having 7 of their albums. It's a bit weird. These are some of the later stuff. I haven't listened to much. I've listened to bits and bobs from each of these, and they seem decent, but I'm not massive on Slayer's later stuff. They're saying that I do own all of their later albums except for World Painted Blood. Yeah, I own a lot of their discography now, to be honest. I just need time to just really process the Slayer. At the moment, really the only albums I say I know really well: Rain in Blood, South of Heaven, and Seasons of the Abyss. The others I just need to listen to them a bit more, honestly. What's next? Oh, Venom's Resurrection. I just wanted to pick up some Venom. I don't own any Venom. Yeah, that's my thought behind this. Haven't listened to it yet. And I fancied a bit of White Stripes. I'm in quite a White Stripes mood recently, so I don't know how you say that. But yeah, this is a good album. I like this. Not as good as Elephant. Maybe not as good as White Blood Cells. But very good album. I like the White Stripes quite a bit at the moment. So that is all I have for this month. There'll certainly be a ton next month and some possibly even better stuff next month, as good as this month, or July, was. So this has been TheAIbumMan. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.